right. Hey there, so I guess we're going to do a quick Q&A. I was planning on testing out my new camera I got, and my plan was coming on and doing a quick Q&A long ago, but I started working on something, a project. I wanted to use my new equipment, but then I got a streaming card, and I was like, I forgot to put the streaming card in. But I was working anyway, so if you have any questions, feel free to go ahead and leave them in the comment section. What we're doing right now is I'm setting up, I've been putting together a lot of tests. I was working with past partners, and because I've been more public, they decided to pass on, but I still had a lot of tests because I wanted to, teaching through testing in any case. So I'm putting together some of those elements. I wanted to try out, so I generally use for WordPress, right? I generally use Thrive, which I really like. But on another project that I was working with Eric, he's one of my partners, he's been using Oxygen. So I'm going to go ahead and use Oxygen. So that's what we're doing right now. If you have any questions, feel free to go ahead and ask. So we're going to put Oxygen on here, and that's what we're going to do. So let's go ahead and get this. If there's any questions, go ahead and ask. Ask here, and then also check out Surfer if you have not already. All right, so I'm going to put that in the chat. It helps the channel. I mean, it helps the channel. I mean, for 7 days to check it out, you'll love it. I think it's definitely, I mean, I buy it, so I think it's a great tool. All right, moving on. So I was just curious about doing some, disabling SSH and all that stuff, and you do stuff and then you forget. So I forgot about it. So I was looking at hardening and disabling the SSH. But in any case, now we're on to this here. If you guys have not used this plugin, it's called Flying Pages. It's definitely awesome. Along with that, I would highly recommend utilizing, I like W3 Cache, but I think I'm going to go with WP Rocket simply because I really like it. This is for my server. I use Webmin, and I had to increase the resource limits because when you're uploading like plugins and stuff, they're a little bit larger. And I just did the main configurations for inside of the server. So you know how that goes. So let's go ahead and add this. I just changed that. So let's see if we can get this baby in here. All right, so if you have any questions, I'd be happy to answer them. If not, what I'm going to do is, this is what I'm doing. I was planning on doing a live, so, I really wanted to use my new equipment, but I wasn't feeling like installing I didn't feel like installing this streaming card. I got it in Gato. A lot of people were saying how good this brand was. So, I like reading online affiliates. So, I mean, if there's 9 million affiliates, all right, so my file was too large. See, that's the problem I keep running into. So I went in here to test my resource limits. Maximum upload, let's do 10 M and see if that gets me there. All right, 60 seconds. All right, let's save that in here. Upload and download. If there's any questions, again, feel free to go ahead and ask. Himanasu, I'm Chris. By the way, I'm not Chase. Chase is a great guy. I guess we kind of look alike, but I'm Chris Palmer. Chase Reiner has another channel. It's Chase Reiner SEO. I think he has a good channel. You should check him out. But I'm Chris Palmer. Generally, I like to answer questions. I do a lot more grayer hat stuff. I like to learn new stuff, and then whatever I'm into at the time, I give away. That's been my motto from the beginning. The stuff that generally people will try to put together into a training, I like to give that stuff away for free. And then the new best stuff is what I like to dabble in. But in any case, great to have you on the channel, though. If anybody has any questions, oh, sorry, Chris. Hey, no problem. Definitely no problem, brother. Not at all. But if you have any questions, feel free to go ahead and ask them. Upload to the server. Okay, so no, this isn't what we need. We will want to change this, but if we go in here to the PHP configuration, it should be okay. Let's go inside of here, and just to make sure, let's go to resource limits. We'll head on into here, and what we're going to do is we're going to change this to, say, 8, and save that in there. Now let's double check that other resource configuration. So we're going here, go to manage. Let's just take a quick look. Resource limits, 10. Okay, so we're good to go here. All right, so we should be good. So the new program that we're, not program, but the new site that I'm launching is SEO testers. So I have a lot of the tests together already, but I really despise writing content, and I don't want to just give the tests to anybody to write me content, because you need to be knowledgeable in order to write tests out, so it's been difficult finding somebody that's for the right price that can write SEO content that's based around SEO. All right, so let's get inside of here. Let's go back over here. What we're doing now is we're trying to get this builder in here and just setting this up. Add new. All right, upload a plugin. We'll go over here. We got Oxygen. Yeah, I want to try out Oxygen. I think I'm hoping that it's really cool. Man, why won't it let me do this? Exceeds the maximum file. Any questions about SEO? Need some short guide on backlinks, how to make it for clients. Yeah. I mean, for backlinks, you should really be analyzing first and foremost your competition's backlinks. We can start off by saying, the most basic is setting up your initial links. All right, setting up your initial links being, say, social properties, social entities, and then you need to establish some branded or service-based or around your niche-based Web 2.0s. And when I say set these up, I mean 5 to 10. And how you find out which ones to build, because I get this question a lot. Whatever your niche is, do a search. Let's say I do SEO training. All right, so let's say SEO training. I do a search. So to figure out which ones are going to be most appropriate for you to build, all right, and this is easy. What I'll do is I'll generally go down the list. It's not going to be on the first page. So let's go down to the bottom. And what we're looking for is Web 2.0s that fit our queries, all right? So if they're showing up and they're being rewarded by Google, then we also want to build those types of entities. And then what you'll do is you'll just base your Web 2 builds, like say you're building 5, say you're doing 10, and then you'll brand them out so your competition cannot take those Web 2 entities from you. What I'll do then is the keywords that I'm going to base my entity, my website around, I'll do those searches. So SEO training, SEO consulting, right? I would do these searches and see which Web 2.0s are popping up on the first, second, or third page. Then what I would do is I would establish those Web 2.0s. The next step, depending on if you're, say, I don't know, a local guy would be setting up citations. I just did something, I like to do waves of citations. I did another wave of citations. I created, I don't know, I'm working on a tool, so I created 200 of them, all right, in a relatively short period of time. So I created 200 of these, but these were more generic, and I noticed I went from, I mean, if you're looking at Moz, because I have the bar, it's easy. Literally, I built those 200, and I went from, say, a domain authority of an 8 up to a 15, all right? So then what I'll do from that point on now is I'll take a look and see which ones are do follow, which ones are showing up in the SERPs, which ones are applying the most benefit, and then I'll start sending links to those. After that, once that starts coming, then I might send traffic through those. I'm not saying I'm going to do that with this particular, my email capture site, but if I was in your shoes, that's probably the steps that I would take. The next piece is, once you have your social entities, you've now branded yourself with Web 2.0s, you've established your citations. The next thing to do is, once you launch your top 10 pieces of pillar content, your main ranking content, some of the next steps that I would do is establishing and maybe trying to get some type of placement, a placement that's going to be a guest post that is highly niche relevant. Now, if you can't get anything highly niche relevant, what I would be looking for is some type of a PBN that is very topical. And the topical has to stem from, the title of the page that it's on, the main theme of the website, and then the internal linking that's coming to that web page, and then you need to look at the anchor text. As long as all that matches within your niche, then that's a highly relevant, highly topical, highly valuable link that you want pointing at your site. This is what we call tier 1, all right? So I would take care of those properties first and foremost. This should be within the first, say, 30 to 40 days of establishing a website. So step 1, social properties. Step 2, branded and or niche or service-based web tubes that are showing up in the SERPs. Step 3, take care of your citations in mass. Do a lot of them, a couple hundred. The next step would be, whatever my pieces of content are, do a press release, send those out. If you can get distribution on like ABC or NBC and all those easy ones that I'm probably going to start offering to people, because I noticed that it could be beneficial to a lot of people. So we'll do press releases on those types of places, like say 150 of them on sites like NBC, ABC. A lot of them are no follow, but it starts getting you're establishing that credibility within that niche. The next step after that, set up your citations, press releases, and then get 1 or 2 of the most topical, most powerful PBN or guest posts that you can afford that are highly relevant. Start setting up your tier 1. Don't build 10 links, don't build 20, build 1 or 2. All right, so hopefully that helps you out. So that's a short guide. That should get you really established, because you're asking a question that's really in the beginning of a process. That's what I would be focusing on first. Setting up those 10 pieces of content that are going to hit a lot of words, like medium tail keywords, to bring in a lot of the other keyword cluster down at the bottom. So say you want to rank for a head term, like say SEO training, I'll start bringing in a lot of other keywords when I build out my pillar content. And then you just keep building off of that. So hopefully that helps you. Focus on content, right? Links, you only need a few, but focus on quality over quantity always. And then as far as anything that's like citations, press releases, depending on what you're doing, then you could start doing that in bulk, because a lot of that will be no follow, and it's considered, and depending on where you're going, it's semi-authoritative and it's a trust signal. All right, so moving down the list here. Install it through File Manager. Yeah, I was thinking about that. I guess I could do that. I would just really like to. I don't understand why this is giving me this max error though. I don't like that. It should just flow. That's why I don't understand why it's giving me trouble here. I mean, I was doing other stuff too. I'm gearing towards the end of my. Hey Chris, TikTok is so easy to get views with, much easier than YTube. It's primarily a mobile app. Is there any way to use TikTok views to boast? So, Commercial Forest, I went on to TikTok. I saw everybody was on there. Gary V's talking about it. Everybody's boasting about it, right? So I gave it 60 days. I created 2 separate accounts. One I focused on, say, like motivation, because I'm big into motivation and being uplifting. So I did one around that, and SEO, like motivation, SEO, both. I at max maybe 150. I did the hashtag, like I did all the research to make sure. Then what I did is, because I'm kind of quirky, I like to have fun, I started making comedy videos, right? These videos, I was getting my first and my second, third video, 1,500, 2,400 views. And this was fast. I mean, within a day. And I was brand new with a brand new account. Now, with that being said, when I'm looking at the comments and the people that were following back, in both instances, it was either people that were very negative on the other end of, say like SEO, marketing, and doing that, or they were very, very young. They're not interested in, it's not a business platform. A majority of the minds that are dwelling within that platform or that asset are there for entertainment. There's really only 2 types of content: informational or entertainment. It's one of those 2 buckets. I'm more of an educational kind of guy. It depends on what you're there for. If you're selling music, or if you're selling, entertainment, that's an excellent platform. As far as information and what I do, it's just not for me. I gave it 60 days. I had to try it out to come up with my own realization of, is it worth it? Judging by your name, it might not be for you. I'm sure there's an angle, but best of luck to you. Is it worth a try, and is it a lot of fun? Do I still have it on my phone? Yeah. I don't produce on it. It's not worth my time. Moving down the list here. So Gregory says, can you tell us more about your post regarding the public network? I'm sure I'm not the only one wondering about it. Right. So here's so I've shared a training that's to give a smaller guy, say, a competitive advantage. I'm giving you the tools and the assets that you need in order to set up, all right? I've also even opened the door for a lot of people to scale this. Now, with that being said, I'm sharing, I've been doing this for some time. I'm giving you what I knew that everybody could do and learn. Now, there's even bigger than that, and it would be the next step. And I'm getting to the point. I just want to explain my thinking process, like I always do. The next step, though, is where I can take these instances, these separate environments, Greg, and I'm able to scale this to a level of where I can then have others come in and enjoy it. So when I made that post, what I'm looking for is people that have time, because I need somebody that I can trust, that can help me with not only the aspects of dealing with clients and customers, because I have the blueprint, I have the know-how, I can get it to go, but I need somebody that they need to have something invested so I know that they're not going to flake off, right? Whether that's time or I don't really care. It's not the money deal. I don't really need money. I need time. I need somebody's time that I can trust, that can help me. And then on top of that, as a caveat, they need to have technical skills. They need to have good people skills. And ideally, they need to have somebody that can get me content. Because I could get it from A to Z, but I need those pieces in between, and I just need the right person to help me. I'm gonna talk with Craig. I sent him a message before. I'm waiting for him. I think he's probably getting up by now. I'm not sure. His time zone's either 4 before me or 4 behind. But that's the plan, though. I just need somebody that I can trust, that can help me. And that's really what I need. I need somebody's time that I can trust and that has technical know-how, and ideally if we could get some content rolling, somebody that's a good content writer, and somebody that can help me spread it, because as I was releasing that training, I've been testing other stuff. Everybody's, in my opinion, they're stuck on the automation, but that's not where it's at, not in my opinion. I think that would be cool, but I've also gone out and I tried SERP clicks, I tried Empire clicks, I tried all of these guys, all of them. Went out and I tried it. Now, I think that for a time being, at least right now, foreign traffic or referrer traffic can be beneficial. But for the long run and for the local guy, I think that setting up a network right, or as some people call it, the long way or the hard way, this is just the right way to do it. Yes, it's harder. Yes, it's slower. But for scalability, I have a way that's going to be efficient. But for long-term benefit for everybody, there's only one way to do it. I mean, we can go to these places and yeah, it's working right now, but for how long? I want something that's a guarantee and it's proper, So, Greg, I hope that answers your question. That's where I'm at. I just want to talk to some other people. And two, I get worried too, like I don't want to get in the conversations with somebody because I've talked to other people about other projects. I'll give them, hints of stuff and then they'll disappear. We'll get in a good conversation. It'll seem like maybe we're going to be able to work together and then poof, gone. So I don't want to give anybody a good idea, no problem. So, Singlet says, thanks, Chris. Never a problem. That's why I'm here. I needed a break, right before bed. I'm getting tired now. Good morning, Chris. Yeah, it's about to be good night, actually. I've been just up. Moving down the list here. Any updates on the Google stacks? Ken, I'm not sure what you mean by that. One of the plans that I was doing, is, I was really working on the CTR and I was trying to get feedback in and then making my changes. So that was one of my first priorities. I mean, other than family and the other business I run and then trying to launch other stuff, right? It's like a juggling act. So with that being said, my goal is to get everybody that was already included within the training. I want to gather them up, and if they're willing to be there live, they'll get it complimentary. They'll get it all, because what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the live and then chop it in the videos and then release it for 2021, because Google has made some changes. Plus, I didn't like the quality of the last one, and I think moving forward, like now I have new equipment. Like when I made those, I didn't even have a microphone, So I just want to up it. I was hosting it in Drive. I was totally new to this. I still am, like, offering training and teaching people what I know. Like, this is completely new, and I don't want to say yelled at, but I get messages consistently of people saying, oh, hey, maybe you shouldn't talk about that. But I don't, hey, it's no problem. So Anglet says, my GMB is stuck in 6th or 7th position. I've done everything that you teach, but it doesn't seem to go up. I'm now getting into CTR. Age of GMB is 1.5 months. Well, this is an interesting concept. So let's get it. Let's talk about this. Let's talk about this. This is interesting. This is something that I really love, because GMBs affect small business owners, and the effects of a GMB that's performing could be the difference between a business staying in business and a business going out of business. So I've always had a special spot in my heart for GMBs, you know. But here, let's get into this. Let me go down the list here. I'm going to save up and buy your training. Hopefully I can afford it soon. Yeah, when I first came out, I gave some promos. Right before I close it down, I might do it one more time. But a lot of people that got in, you know, they weren't happy that I was giving people a 20% discount, you know. But, you know, might be able to work something out later on once I close it down. Jen says, awesome live stream. Thank you, Jen. I appreciate you. Will accept me in your face group, please. I was just in there. I just did a whole slew of acceptance. I'll definitely accept you as long as you're not following 9 million other groups, as long as you're not going to spam it or use profanity, you know. Let's come over here. Let's see what's going on. This is another great group if you ladies and gentlemen aren't in it. Here, let's see here. So yeah, I'm sorry about that. Again, if anybody's here that did not know that I have a group where you can ask me questions, it's Chris Palmer SEO on Facebook. You know, if there's something maybe you want to ask me that's, you know, not in the blatant public, this is a little bit more, you know, private. And then too, you can always message me here. I try to get back to everybody. If it goes into this like little spam box, I don't see it. But these see this right here. Is this you, buddy? Because this is something I would decline. See, 400 groups. When I see that, I automatically assume what value can you give to myself, and what value can you provide to everyone else? Because really, I wanted to make a self-sustaining unit of people that thought along the lines of me and were super interested in SEO. So yeah. So hopefully you weren't that guy. Moving down the list here. What do you think is the best local aggregator? I think I want to say it's that Axion. I was going to say Aximum, I guess is what it's called. But I would be looking and being most interested. I made a video on this, Greg. You know, if you could get a little bit, Eximon is how I pronounced it. I'm assuming that's not what it is. Infogroup is super big, but I would be looking to get in, you know, depending on where you're going and where you're creating these things and where you're submitting, I would be trying to get my business to all that I could. Take your time with it too. Don't be in a rush. One of them though just recently stopped. You know, their like distribution chain got smaller. I don't remember off the top of my head which one it was. But if you do a little bit of due diligence, you'll definitely figure it. But if you have access, do as many as you possibly can. But some touch a lot more than others. So just take your time with it. But I know that Axiom is what generally who we work with. I know that that's where it goes. I think Infogroup's pretty good too. Byron says, hey Chris, I found an expired domain from a business on the same coverage area as one of my local business websites. How will you extract the link juice? The businesses are completely unrelated. Well, I'm going to go back to the GMB guy, but let me answer this. So if you insist on buying, I mean, say it's just something that's absolutely beautiful. I mean, it's an amazing thing. One of the ways to do it is this. I mean, you could do this. You could set up, say, it's the expired domain, right? Expireddomain.com. One of the things that you could do is do this. You can make a sub, right? And then you could just link here. Another piece, and then link out, right? That's one thing that you could do. Another piece, generally what I like to do is get the site, and then I build it exactly how it was. Build out the site exactly how it was. And then just find, this is one way to do it. Then find a word that's semi-related on that site somewhere and link out from there. Another thing that you can do is build out this website, right, the way it was. And then what I like to do, this is another thing that I've done, is get a site that is relevant. Relevant meaning that the titles match, the anchors coming in are matching and relevant to your niche. But then just take this link, pass it here, and then pass it out. That's another option. I mean, you have a lot of options, but no matter what, you want to evolve the relevancy. You want to clean that up. It's definitely a focus factor. Now, to touch on the gentleman that was talking about GMB. So if I have a GMB, all right, and there's a 5-mile radius, okay, a 5-mile radius, a couple things that need to happen, all right. First and foremost, in that 5-mile radius, this is your radius, you need to have people that are looking and searching for your business. And that could include, but not limited to, photo views, asking for directions from different points. A really good one primarily is when you're setting up, say, schema or same as. If you're setting up entities, other entities online, I use an example of a Web 2.0. These entities are based around the other, without saying too much, based on the locations of the proximity, but expanded. So if this is a 5-mile radius, which is generally where people come up, when you're building out your properties, other properties to lead traffic in, do it at 10 miles. Because then once you start showing up for those queries, then you can go out even farther. Another step is this, all right? What I'm getting at is sending traffic from other entities that are related to the location of where you're at. And that you need to be sending in requests from that website coming into the GMB. When they're another massive one is if people are doing searches, normal searches, and going through all of the businesses, if they're doing, say, business searches for your competitor and landing on yours listing, this increases. Everything with GMB is long, and this is another important factor, is long. Let's say this, because everything after this is all has to do with traffic and the clicks that are coming in, where they're coming from, who they're coming from, what they're looking for. Have they been to the site? Have they made a phone call? Have they asked for directions? Have they left a review? Have they uploaded a photo? Everything that equates to an increase is a user-generated signal. This is how we're able to take an unverified listing and rank it in 30 days, right? But the elements need to be on point on the website first, and they need to be goal-driven around ranking that GMB. So when you're setting up your site, the categories should pertain to not only the services that are listed within the categories on your GMB, we also need to have the most relevant locations listed on the website. Every single service that's on your page, if it's not a category, say mine's internet marketing, make sure that word is on the page. All the words that are on this page, you need to have your customers searching for, right? And then you'll start ranking your GMB, because you don't just gain a map pack. There's multiple map packs. And depending on if a map pack triggers for a particular keyword is dependent upon people searching for this keyword, seeing a map pack and landing on your listing because you have the best answer. So a lot of times too, you'll notice that if you can get the website in order and it's corresponding good with the GMB rank will start to increase. I'm not saying that you need a website, but you need something that validates that you're an actual business to help boost that entity. I mean, I mean, without going into like super finite details and giving you every strategy, I hope that that helps you. How long does the drip take? It's 3 days per. 3 days per, and it's nothing against you, Soursop. I did that for every single person. 3 days, 3 days, 3 days. So I'm sorry about that. It was to alleviate, so if people, you know, everybody that came that was just there to try to get the information, download it, and then go back. I literally just had somebody do that for the stack training. You know, and I was just trying to alleviate that. You know, it's just absurd. And then I'm going on to my, I'm going on to my forum and seeing my stuff, and it's, I just wanted to alleviate that. So if somebody's there just to get the details, they're not going to go through with that, because I'm making them sit through the drip, if you're concerned about information, I mean, it's all there. There's 42. I made it accessible so everybody could see what's there. I didn't block that. I wanted people to see each module, each section. There's 42 videos. There's 4.5 hours of content. I took my time. I walked through every step. So no worries, brother. If you have a question, reach out to me, Facebook or here. I mean, so hopefully you can understand, my friend. Thanks for accepting my request. Okay, so you were the guy without the 400. Perfect. Hey, Chris, you missed my second question. Did I? I'm sorry. If I have multiple domains, how do you lessen your footprint with hosting and registrars? Any tips? Well, generally what I'll do is, the registrars are easy. GoDaddy, Google, you can switch those up. I think that that's one of the mains. The next step of it is getting VPSs. There's a lot of VPS providers. A lot of them are using, I think it's OBH, or it's like one or the other if you're in North America, right? But as long as you're getting different IPs, when you're checking for backlinks, you're looking at referring domains and separate IPs. So as long as it's a separate IP with a different registrar, I'm not saying I would be on the same host each and every time, but you could probably get two with two different IPs on the same host. Say I get a VPS, I partition it, I have an IP, two separate sites, that's perfectly fine, right? When you start getting up more than that, that's why, remember those blog, you can do it now. You can buy hosting that is for PBN networks, right? It's PBN hosting. And it's working. Unlike the blog hosting where they were getting a whole bunch of people on the same exact one, these guys are partitioning it out, and it's different with the IPs. So, and it's working, it's been successful, there hasn't been any problems. So, if it's working for them and they have X amount of clients and these businesses keep popping up, obviously it's working. So I would just follow suit. Different registrar, different IPs. Make sure you're logging in differently from browsers. I think that plays a part. How you're logging in, I think, plays a huge part. And yeah, that should be very beneficial for you. Hopefully that helps. Can you upload images? You can upload images and leave reviews as long as you have accounts. So laugh aloud. So 2 weeks and it's unlocked. So no problem. Yeah. 3, 6, 9, 12. Yeah, about 12 days. you should be on the last section, and then, you know, about 15 days you'll be done. All right. So I'm here to join your community. Cool. Excellent. I'm glad that you're here. All right. So no other questions. So let's go into here. We'll go into File Manager. Where is it? So this particular server is pretty good. This is called Racknerd. I really like it a lot. And I did a insight just to double check, and it was running at 100 on Page Insights with this very basic theme. All right, so there we go. I'm assuming I need to unpack it or extract it, but we're gonna go and check anyway. Alrighty. So what we're doing now is we're going to get Oxygen, and Oxygen is a page builder. So I was looking at somebody's site, and I really liked how clean the code was. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and use it, Oxygen, and then we'll take it from there. All right, so here we go. Let's go to Activate. We'll go here. All right. Where is it? It's over here. Blank install sounds good. Alrighty, cool. Installed plugins. I've never used this before, so I have no idea how it works. I'm assuming that it's activated, I'm guessing. So here, let's go to Pages, and let's launch one and see how this thing works. I never used it. I'm actually kind of excited here. What was that? Make each block its own. Hit the plus icon. Learn how to use the block editor. Okay. Cool. Okay. What else can we do here? Is this how it looks? I mean, is this it? It's interesting. Please save before editing. Render using template. Okay. Short codes. Okay. Let's go over here. Permalink, SEO testing. Okay. Interesting. Preview. Let's see what preview looks like. Mobile. Preview and tab. Let's see how the code looks. I'm just curious of this code here. Well, it looks pretty clean. Okay. All right, let's see if there's any last questions. Probably going to go ahead and hop off. I'm here to join your community. Chris, for the GMBs, is it more beneficial to concentrate on big cities or large towns for clients near the DC area? Well, I would focus on the general. If they've already established a listing, a verified, legitimate listing, I would focus on the 5 to 10 mile radius. Now, as far as when I'm building out the site, I would start at the nearest points or the highly dense points, and I would build out those pages first. And then from there, I would definitely establish some unverifieds just so I could push in traffic. And I'd get some ads running with some super calls to action so I could get people over to the listing so I could get that listing ranked, that's without doing anything else. The main objective would be to get them onto the listing so they could start clicking around. You can watch your insights by running very cheap traffic, which is organic, but you have to spend money. You don't get immediate. You can't guarantee what they're going to do, but it's definitely beneficial. I would highly focus on service plus keyword, or area plus service, whatever the case is, as far as the pages are concerned. And then I would be running traffic into those to get them back over to the GMB or GMB to there. As long as you have the pages built out and the site is up to par, once you start bringing in traffic and you get tested up in the higher positions, as long as the site's on par with trustworthiness, it'll stay in position. So what I would do is I would focus on the medium cities, not the biggest cities, because then competition is high. And then once I'm starting to get in those signals, trust signals, traffic, all of your off-page SEO is being done, then I would start moving into the larger cities. But I would focus on bigger towns first, anywhere that, take a look at some of your competition. Take a look at their site. Pull it in, do a competitive analysis, see where is their traffic coming from. Like, yes, their main traffic is coming from the biggest cities, but look at their secondaries and then do that for all of the sites, because all of those sites on the first page are getting traffic from different sources. So once you pull in all of the details, where's the traffic coming from, then you can make a game plan of, okay, here's where the pages I'm going to build out, and then focus on those towns. It's more of a long play, but SEO is long. So if it's for a client, they're probably going to want to, hurry up and build out their pages, but that that's not going to start bringing in traffic for months. So focus on the smaller towns, build out the pages, and then to get the details in order to build out the pages, see what your competition's doing. Always first, where are they getting their traffic from that's not their main target city, and then take care of it from there. And then as far as when you're building out that GMB, make sure that those words are showing up. When you're building out your pages, make sure that those towns are showing up. Make sure those words show up. Google doesn't know. You need to tell them. So hopefully that helps you out. So I'm going down the list here. Where can I download that Oxygen plugin? Oxygen? Well, I actually went and bought it so I could add it to my... I got it from here. This is where I went. Right here, Oxygen. 3.4, and they're running a deal. And I got an Enterprise, I think it's called, agency. It was $170. But I'm not promoting them by any stretch of the imagination, but I heard great things. I watched a couple tutorials. I really liked the way the code looked. And you can put it on unlimited sites. So it's unlimited sites. You can put it on. It's super fast. All the sites that I've seen that have it run very well. So yeah, you know, and they just updated this. And then they have like a little community. Like I went on to look, and the guy, like he makes like tutorials. So like he went out and built the Elementor site. And like this looks pretty clean, I think. You know, but my building skills are not, you know, I'm not, you know, my idea of what looks good may not be what looks good. I have no idea. To me, this looks good, you know. This looks good to me. This looks professional. It looks clean. It runs ultra fast. Like when I click on something, it's poof, and I'm streaming. So I'm pretty happy. So this is it, oxygenbuilder.com. Check it out. But I don't get traffic. Let's go down the list. My site got ranked for map pack. All right, excellent. And two, when you're doing a key phrase map pack search, there's multiple map packs, you know, and make sure when you're, you know, the correlation between the site and the map pack and ranking in maps, you know, make sure that a map pack is popping for whatever keyword you're targeting for, and then make sure that, you know, you're basing your site off of wanting to rank in maps. You know, there's, and if you need to, and if your business is focused on getting leads and phone calls from maps, build your site accordingly. If you have to build two sites, if you make a sub site, you know, I would always make something that's conversion focused, make sure something's customer focused, informational focused. Build your content accordingly to how you want to rank, what your objective is. Very important. I know that's super basic, but it's important. Do you consistently have to keep on getting guest posts to be able to maintain our ranking? I think that building links consistently, I mean, if you're paying for links, you know, you need to show popularity, for lack of better words, you want to consistently be increasing your link count. You should be gaining links organically. Normal sites do, so should you. So if you're buying them and you're just starting, then yes. You know, and then once you reach a certain point, you'll notice that all of your posts are starting to rank a lot easier and faster. You're hitting page 2 immediately, the bottom of page 1 for certain keywords. So yeah, I heard Diggity call it authority mode. Once you hit that authority mode, stuff is a lot easier. When driving bot traffic from Diabolical, I don't use Diabolical, but Google Analytics and AWS stats aren't showing the traffic. Is this probably because I have shared hosting or websites? Should I move them to a VPS? Well, the problem with the bot traffic, there's two things. One, mouse movement. Two is especially Diabolical, they have their own built-in proxies, which is an issue. Also, if you're scraping data center and or other types of anonymous or any of those proxies, they've been used a million times. I think that it's kind of strange that it's not showing in analytics, because usually it will. I'm not sure how long you have them sitting on the page. I'm not sure if you're having it click through. But as long as you're having it sit there for a little bit of time and clicking through, it should be showing up. I've used Diabolical. I preferred, as far as bots, I preferred Supreme Traffic Bot, because then I could program it to do certain things, click on certain things. I could randomize clicks. I just enjoyed that one better. That's not to say I don't have the other though. All right. How to increase leads organically. Well, in order to increase leads, you need to increase visibility. To increase visibility, you have a couple options. You can either go paid, whether that's Google AdWords, Facebook, you can drop actual mail, or two, another option to increase leads, which is increasing visibility, is by creating informational content that has a lot of volume, a lot of traffic, that could potentially convert into leads. So, like, what are people doing in your industry? Whatever you're selling. Think of something that nobody else is talking about but is on the customer's mind. Do informational content based around these types of these topics. You'll start to get content. You'll start to get more traffic. I'm too tired. I think I'm done for today. I'm gonna end this off. My mouth's dry. I'm tired. I'm stumbling on words here. So, okay, cool. Thanks. Umar says, how much time or links does it take to hit the authority mode? I would say within at least 90 days. Yeah, immediately you'll start to get traffic. But I mean, to truly hit authority, we're talking about 6 months, maybe even a year. When you look at the white hat guys that are, just doing everything by the book, they're not buying any links, they're just producing content. They don't start getting proper traffic for about a year's time, 8 to a year. So, I mean, if you're doing everything by the book, you can look at a year time frame, maybe 8 months. If you want to speed things up, you'll definitely get traffic within the first 30 to 60 days. But to really get to that next step, where the traffic's really starting to come in, you're producing a piece of content, it's going to the top of second, bottom of first page, you're looking at a couple months. If you're cheating, for lack of better words, buying PBNs, buying guest posts, you're getting the links, you're sending traffic, you're running ads, you could probably get there in maybe 4 to 6 months, but it's going to cost you. So hopefully that helps you. If I do a guest post from day one of site, will my site get out of the sandbox quickly, or will it take a few months? Yeah, no, you shouldn't be building a bunch of links at first. You should and the sandbox, I always let my stuff sit. Like this site I've had for months, and now I'm just starting to mess with it. And if you take a look here, like it's already got, like I've already set in a few links. I started sending traffic to it. It's this one here. See, it's already at DA4. It's a PA5 DA4. And there's nothing even here. You know what I mean? So, and all I did was just let it sit for 90 days. Like I got it. I uploaded I went through the process. I got Cloudflare. I started getting traffic. I created some citations, But yeah, I think that you just need to sit and be patient. Don't rush anything, take your time. Does DA or DR matter for getting guest posts, or only the relevancy? I think that you can look at that as, say, like a barometer, a way to look at and determine a link's strength. But really what I'm looking at is, what are the anchor texts going into that site? What is the internal linking going to the page that's linking out to yours? What is the anchor text coming into your page? And what is the title of the page that your link is on, right? So I think that all of it matters. If you're talking about a tier 1 link when you're building out your first links, I would go for the highest potency. So if you want to look at DR, DA, personally, if I'm looking at getting links or buying sites, I'm looking at TF and CF. I like Majestic. I've been using it a very long time. I really like it. I also like Ahrefs. Sometimes I'll look at that. For quick, fast, because it's just sitting up here and it generally runs fast, I look at DA. But if I'm being serious, I'm looking at TF and CF. I want to see what's going on. What's the trust flow? Is it a trust flow 30, trust flow 40? That's a good link. Is the title of the page good? What's the anchor text and the internal linking? That's what you're looking at. If this is a tier 1 link, make darn sure that it's topical and powerful. Hopefully that helps you. PBN's bad because I got a link from a site that looked like a PBN but was not relevant. PBNs are not bad. All links are good links until they're proven that they're not. Just because there's a spam score, just because whatever tool you're looking at is saying something, doesn't mean that it's a bad link. If you're getting it and you're seeing a decrease in rankings, or if you look that site and that site is nowhere to be found in the SERPs, if that site has been, I don't know what you would call it, if there's been manual actions, if it's been flagged, if it's not showing up in SERPs or whatever the case is, then that's a bad link. But until that point, that link is still good. It doesn't matter. It just doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. But for longevity and for something that you're going to buy, I would be making sure that it's high quality, which means a lot of referring domains, and it's topically relevant. If you're buying links, you're looking for TF30, TF40 links. A lot of these PBN providers are offering, TF20s. If you go on to anywhere, it's mostly TF20s, but you want the highest potency. And do a double check. If they're offering you a link and you're looking at it, after they deliver and it shows up, take a look at those referring domains, because a lot of these guys are now manipulating the DR strength. They're redirecting Google links in to boost their domain authority numbers. This is nonsense. Just make sure you know who you're dealing with. All right, just be careful. Google redirect links do not help rank a site. No, they just manipulate the numbers. And when I tested this months and months and months ago, a year and a half ago, it also levels back out. So you'll get that boost at first. This is kind of like, you'll buy an expired domain and you'll get a script. You'll turn that into a shortener, right? Its own. You've bought a powerful domain. You've turned the domain into a shortener, and then you blast that site with as many links from wherever you possibly can, and then you just start adding sites to it, right? That's powerful at first, but then it levels back off. It's kind of the same thing as far as potency. Potency is a lot. You'll see the numbers, but then it starts to level off. All right. The difference between those two, though, is if you turn an expired into a shortener and hit it with links and utilize that does give you a boost. But what I'm getting at is it does start to level off. That Google stuff, it doesn't increase rank. It just doesn't. Is TFCF a surefire way to see the quality of a site, or do we have to check all of the other things that you mentioned? Yes, I check everything. I think that TF and CF is what gets me to start looking at the other elements. Again, if I'm buying something to power up something, right? To power up the tier 1. If this is a tier 1 link that's coming directly into the site, and this is my tier 1, my most powerful links, this is what I want to show Google. I'm doing every check that there is especially before I lay down my money or I establish that link or get a placement. How much value do the Web 2s hold if I post like 10 posts on each post? Well, I would set those up on those Web 2s. I would create the main keywords or the main locations or main service pages that I want to rank for, that my website is about. But and then maybe once every other month, go back and, put up another spun article every other month. So just to keep it active and keep it, fresh. But other than that, I wouldn't get out of hand. 3 or 4 articles and then come back every couple months, like every 2 months, every 1 month, put an article, even if it's spun, just to keep it getting crawled. Can TF and CF? Yes, it can be. Yep, it can be. All right, so I think that's going to be it. We're at the hour mark, so it's been an absolute pleasure. Everybody stay safe. wash your hands. If you haven't already, definitely check out Surfer. I love it. And then too, I might build out. I'm gonna build this out and see how everything goes. And then I'll let everybody know. Once I have the test results up, maybe we'll start getting people over here. So I can share some of my tests. And they'll be in depth. I'm hoping everybody really likes it. So yeah, everybody have a blessed day. I'll see you in the next one. See you next time. Good night. Bye, Jen. See you, Umar. Everybody. Craig, Greg, Tamir, Chris, A. Merca, Ken, everybody. Everybody that's here. Thank you. Everybody have a blessed day. Tired. I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.